World War I, also known as the Great War, started in 1914. It was a conflict that involved many of the world's great powers, drawing in countries from across the globe into a devastating and prolonged struggle, and ended in 1918, after 4 long years of intense and grueling warfare. It was one of the deadliest conflicts in history, with unprecedented levels of carnage and destruction. Millions of soldiers and civilians lost their lives, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow and loss that would be felt for generations. The war reshaped the world and had long-lasting effects, altering borders, economies, and societies in profound ways. But why did it happen? What were the underlying causes that led to such a catastrophic event? To understand this, we need to look at several factors, each contributing to the mounting tensions. These factors created a perfect storm, setting the stage for a global conflict. Countries were bound by complicated alliances, which meant that a conflict between 2 nations could quickly involve others. Militarism was on the rise, with nations building up their armed forces. Imperialism made nations competitive for colonies and resources. Nationalism fueled tensions as people sought to assert their national identity. And then, a single event lit the fuse: the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. In this essay, we will explore these causes in detail, examining how each factor contributed to the outbreak of war. We will see how they interacted, creating a web of tensions and alliances that made war almost inevitable. We will also look at the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, an event that shocked the world and set off a chain reaction. This event acted as the immediate trigger, leading to declarations of war and the mobilization of armies. Finally, we will discuss the immediate impact of the war's beginning, as nations plunged into a conflict that would change the course of history forever. One major cause of World War I was the intricate system of alliances that had developed over the years. Countries formed alliances to protect themselves from potential threats and to ensure mutual defense. These alliances were meant to create a balance of power, ensuring that no single nation could dominate the others. But they also created a complex web of obligations and expectations among the nations. When one country was attacked, its allies were bound by treaties to join the fight, escalating conflicts quickly. There were 2 main alliances that dominated the political landscape of Europe. The Triple Entente included France, Russia, and the United Kingdom, forming a powerful coalition. The Triple Alliance consisted of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, creating a formidable counterbalance. These alliances were supposed to deter aggression by presenting a united front. Instead, they made the international situation more volatile and unpredictable. When Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, Russia, bound by its alliance, had to support Serbia. This brought in Germany, who was obligated to support Austria-Hungary due to their alliance. France and the United Kingdom then entered the conflict to support their ally, Russia. What started as a local conflict quickly escalated into a full-scale world war. Thus, alliances played a crucial role in the outbreak of World War I. They turned what could have been a small dispute into a large-scale, devastating war. Countries were bound by their agreements to support their allies no matter the cost. This made it incredibly difficult to stop the conflict once it had started, leading to unprecedented destruction and loss of life. Militarism was another key factor. Militarism means the belief that military power is vital. Many European countries believed in strong armies. They invested heavily in their militaries. This created an arms race. Germany and Britain competed to build powerful navies. France and Russia built large armies. This made the situation tense. Countries were ready for war. They believed that having strong militaries would prevent attacks, but it also made them more willing to use force. Militarism also affected public opinion. People admired military leaders. They believed that war was noble. This made it easier for governments to justify military actions. Citizens were willing to support wars. The military buildup made conflicts more likely. Countries had the means and the will to fight. This militaristic mindset contributed to the outbreak of World War I. Imperialism also played a significant role in shaping the modern world. Imperialism is when a country expands its influence and control over other territories, often through colonization or military force. Many European countries, such as Britain, France, and Germany, had vast empires that spanned across continents. They competed fiercely for colonies and resources, seeking to expand their wealth and power. This intense competition often led to conflicts and skirmishes in various parts of the world. Germany in particular was eager to build a larger empire, and felt it was being left out of the colonial race. The German leadership believed that having more colonies would elevate their status among European powers. Britain and France, on the other hand, already had large and well-established empires. They were determined to maintain their dominance and did not want to lose their influence in their colonies. This rivalry created significant tensions between the European countries, leading to a precarious balance of power. They competed not only in Europe but also in Africa and Asia, where imperialism had a profound impact on local populations. To protect their interests and secure their colonies, countries formed complex alliances. These alliances were meant to provide mutual support in case of conflicts, but they also made the political landscape more complicated. The intricate web of alliances meant that a conflict in one part of the world could quickly escalate and involve many countries. This interconnectedness contributed to the outbreak of global conflicts, such as World War I. Thus, imperialism added to the tensions and rivalries among nations, making the world a more volatile place. It made countries more competitive and eager to assert their dominance on the global stage. Many nations were willing to go to war to protect their empires and secure their interests. This fierce competition and desire for expansion ultimately contributed to the outbreak of World War I, changing the course of history forever. Section 5. Nationalism and its influence. Nationalism was another key factor. Nationalism is the belief that one's nation is superior. It often leads to a desire for independence. Many European countries experienced a rise in nationalism. This created internal and external tensions. In Austria-Hungary, different ethnic groups wanted independence. Serbs, Croats, and others were unhappy. They wanted to form their own nations. This weakened the empire. It made it more difficult to govern. Nationalism also affected foreign relations. Countries wanted to prove their superiority. They were willing to fight to show their strength. This created a hostile environment. Nations were quick to take offense. Nationalism made it harder to resolve conflicts peacefully. Countries were unwilling to compromise. They wanted to assert their dominance. This contributed to the outbreak of World War I. Section 6. Interlinking of causes. The causes of World War I were interconnected. Alliances, militarism, imperialism, and nationalism did not exist in isolation. They influenced each other, creating a complex web of tensions. Alliances were affected by imperialism, as countries formed alliances to protect their empires. Militarism made these alliances more dangerous, with countries ready to use their military power. Nationalism added fuel to the fire, making countries more aggressive. For example, Germany's desire for a bigger empire led to an arms race with Britain, increasing militarism. This arms race made Germany and Britain more competitive, and their competition was fueled by nationalism. Thus, the causes of World War I were deeply interlinked, creating a volatile environment that made the outbreak of war more likely. Section 7. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was the immediate trigger. Franz Ferdinand was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. On June 28, 1914, he was assassinated in Sarajevo. The assassin was Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. The assassination shocked Europe. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia, believing Serbia was behind the plot. This led to demands for action. Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia which was harsh. Serbia could not meet all the demands, so Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. This set off a chain reaction. Russia mobilized to support Serbia, Germany declared war on Russia, and France and Britain then entered the war. Thus, the assassination acted as a trigger, setting off the alliances and military plans, turning a local event into a global conflict. Section 8. The assassination as a trigger. The assassination was not the sole cause of World War I, but it acted as a catalyst. It brought the underlying tensions to the surface. The alliances were activated, militaries were mobilized, and nationalistic fervor was ignited. Austria-Hungary saw the assassination as a chance to crush Serbian nationalism, believing it would strengthen their empire. Germany supported Austria-Hungary, wanting to assert their power. Russia supported Serbia, seeing themselves as protectors of Slavs. France and Britain were drawn in by their alliances, not wanting to see the balance of power shift. The assassination set this complex web of actions in motion, making war inevitable. Thus, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was the spark that ignited the volatile environment. The underlying causes made it impossible to stop the conflict. Section 9. Immediate aftermath of the war's outbreak. The outbreak of World War I had immediate impacts. Countries quickly mobilized their armies, and battles began on multiple fronts. The Western Front saw trench warfare, while the Eastern Front saw large-scale battles. Civilians were affected, with many being displaced. Economies were strained as resources were diverted to the war effort. Propaganda was used to maintain public support. The war quickly became a total war. The initial battles were intense and both sides expected a quick victory, but the war dragged on, becoming a war of attrition. Millions of soldiers lost their lives. The war reshaped Europe, leading to political changes and revolutions. Thus, the immediate aftermath was chaotic and destructive, with the war having long-lasting effects that changed the world forever.